Yeah, hey guys. So today we're going to take a really quick look at the 0 to 1K challenge, which is coming on the 5th of July. So we're going to look at some of the different ways that you can go from 0 to your first 1K in income using the directory or authority site marketing model. So essentially, I've just listed out a couple different simple things on the premium or featured listing front. This is something that most people start with. It's not the best long term approach, but it's certainly a great way of getting your first $1,000 worth of income. So let's look at this really quickly. And I'm calling this stack the value. Really simple stuff, not rocket science, nothing genius here. So the question becomes, how can you stack the value in what you're offering to potential premium members to make the offer irresistible or too good to refuse? So let's look at a couple things that might fall into that category. So let's say you have a $24.99 a month featured or premium listing. One of the first things that you can do is offer a radically discounted rate for a one-time fee of, let's say, $99.99. Make it an urgency offer, so you would essentially just run a coupon for, let's say, 7 or 10 days, and just throw that out to your community with all of these various uh, enhancements or ways to improve or augment the basic functionality of a premium or featured listing. So one of those things might be an interview. That's a really simple thing that I've recommended to many of you. Uh, this cuts across any different type of theme you may be using. It applies to, whether you're using Listify or Brilliant Directories, whether you're using Vantage or, Listing Pro, any of these various themes or frameworks matches that marketing map quite well using an interview. A special icon on the map. Again, this is just another simple little enhancement that you can offer people. What I've been doing the last couple of days especially, is I I bought a really nice, cartoonish icon that stands out. So I'm using the Vantage 4.0 theme, and I bought a special plugin which allows you to change the icons on given categories. So for the what I'm calling top choice, I just I'm using an icon which is appropriate for something that would be a top choice result on the map and on the directory itself. So users will be able to identify folks who are, by dint of our recommendation, top choices via a tag, which is on their header image, as well as by this very noticeable icon. All right, so you have special category. Again, our choice, 5 star. I don't know what to star twice, 5 star. Reader's choice. Anything like that that you can just use to appeal to the ego of your members. So there's a certain ego appeal, obviously, to being listed as a 5 star profile or our choice, top choice, reader's choice. I mean, I recommend you do this in an ethical way. So I always will have a disclaimer on a page that says, our top choice or our recommended featured listings pay us. But no one ever reads that. But it makes me feel better to know that it's honest and ethical. And I tell the members that as well, that, even if you are a top choice, unless I've eaten at your restaurant and personally recommend you, I'm going to have a disclaimer on the site that does say, you are a fee-based, or this is a fee-based, um, recommendation. All right, so respond to reviews. This is another one that's very easy to facilitate, again, using plugins, whether you're using Listify has the WP Job Manager review plugins that they have that's unique to their framework. Again, using Vantage, they have something called Critic, which allows folks to respond to reviews. You can make that a premium thing. All right, priority of place and results. Again, this is an obvious thing. People show up more highly. That's not good English. They show up with priority of place on the page for, if they pay for a featured listing. So that's the way a directory ought to behave, and certainly that benefits your members when they show up higher, no different than when folks show up on Google in in an elevated, above the fold position. They're going to get more clicks. That's just the way it works. All right, so newsletter, mention, offer. One thing that I'm using is a curated.co, which is a great newsletter service for curated newsletters. There's another service also that I also recommend and use that I've done videos on. This is not about newsletter curation, but one of the things that you can do is have a directory newsletter that goes out to your public audience, let's say once a week, and that highlights deals and mentions events, and whether it's a local or international or niche-based directory, whatever is appropriate for your needs. But including them, so giving these folks, as part and parcel of this $99.99 for the year, including that is a huge thing. I mean, you're giving them a link to their website. Another one, you're giving them a link to their listing on your website. You're promoting their their events or their deals or their whatever. And folks respond very favorably to that. And it's actually empirically a value, it's a value metric that they can measure. All right, this is a really, really important one to me. So coupons or deals. Now, I'm going to tell you why this to me is such a valuable way of convincing or persuading people to pay for a premium listing for the year. So what you're going to do is you can use something like wpcoupons.io, I believe is the URL, which will allow you to, with every listing, put a different coupon in the sidebar that's associated with that particular business. So Joe, let's say, who's paying for a premium listing, can create, as part of this $99.99 for the year, he's getting this coupon that he can promote anything on his website. So Joe's Pizza, let's say, or Joe's Yoga, or Joe's web design, whatever kind of directory you're running. So that coupon will go on Joe's listing on the sidebar. It can also be embedded via a shortcode on, in the listing itself. Now, that's a real value to Joe, but there's another, a reverse psychology element to this as well, which is if Jane has a pizza place or a web design or a yoga studio, and she's also on your directory, and she doesn't pay this $99.99 for the year to be featured, well, then Joe's coupon potentially will show up in her on the sidebar in her listing. So, or you can actually force it to appear in her in the listing itself, which is a little bit obnoxious, but not the sidebar is not obnoxious because the sidebar is the sidebar of the site. So you could just say, okay, well, Joe's yoga studio is going to appear on Jane's listing, and that's what the basic or free listings get. So that really is an incentive, because otherwise Jane is, in some respect, if you were getting traffic for Jane's yoga studio, let's say Google is sending you a lot of traffic or a fair amount of traffic for Jane's studio, and folks are going to be hitting that and then looking at her studio and then seeing a big fat discount or a coupon for Joe for his yoga studio in her sidebar. You know, she's not going to be thrilled about that, but that's the price of rice, in doing business on your directory. Joe paid for a premium listing. She didn't. The way that she rectifies that is paying for a premium listing. It's just that simple. So there's a number of ways to do this in a really smooth and ethical way. For those of you who take part in the 0 to 1K challenge, which again is coming on the 5th of July, this is a premium program. It's a coaching program, so it's not free, but it will certainly, if you're looking to make your first $1,000, it's going to be worth it in 90 days. You should make a hell of a lot more than that, but minimum of 1K. All right, so you can also use something. Let me say one last thing before I move on from that. If you look at Listify, for an example, or Listable, one of the things that they do is they have these bridge plugins that will allow your members to attach a coupon or a deal or a product to their listing. But you need to buy a couple different plugins, and it's sort of like you have to make a couple of different things work together to get that effect. Whereas this WP coupon, which I just bought last week for, I don't even know how much it was, $40 maybe 2 weeks ago. It just out of the box lets you do that, assign a product to a given listing. So it's really, really powerful stuff for this kind of site. All right, so app notifications. Again, you don't have to go like way overboard. I'm just giving you some different options, and especially if you add another 9 there, so it's $1,000 for the year, then maybe you might want to integrate this. I'm integrating this because I love the Mighty Networks app. And again, I'm not going to cover this in this video, but something like this adds a separate functionality to your directory where you have a community. That's an app-based mobile network community running on the Mighty Networks platform, which is really, really cool. It's like Buddy Press on super steroids, not even regular steroids. I mean, it's just awesome. And it's free. I mean, there are premium, you can pay for it and get even more value out of it. But the free level is far good enough to get started using Mighty Networks. And then here's another really good idea that I'm using for a local project that I'm just consulting on with 2 other clients and friends, which is create a mastermind. So it's a local project, and with all these different offers that we're giving these people, all these different incentives for paying for a featured listing. One of the things that we're giving them is access to a private marketing mastermind, a monthly marketing mastermind, where all the folks who are paid, who pay in advance for the year, are getting access to a monthly call with these 2 site owners, the 2 directory, the folks who are running the directory, and I'm actually helping them with some marketing ideas. So they're going to, help these folks with SEO and with all these different, social media questions, and just kind of brainstorm and mastermind some of the various challenges that folks locally in these communities are facing running their own businesses. I mean, their own online enterprises. So that's a freebie that, in of itself is worth something valuable to people who are just lost and confused about what are the best practices in 2017 to get more traffic to their site, service, product, program, offer, menu, restaurant, blog, whatever it may be. So, it also gives them the opportunity to collaborate on joint venture projects or affiliate, marketing projects. Not so much local, businesses aren't interested in affiliate marketing, but they may be interested in collaborating on a joint venture event or product or, a restaurant that's also hosting an art event or vice versa, and so forth and so on. So you're giving them more value, again, locally to connect with other folks who live in that community and who are entrepreneurs in that local environment. And of course, to the couple who's running that community that I'm referring to, and this could be, this you and your partners or yourself or your wife or husband, but in this particular case, it's just going to further ramify their appearance of expertise and authority as entrepreneurial experts. So when you own this directory and you have the ability to offer all these great, valuable add-ons, and you're hosting a mastermind, who do you think people are going to turn to when they want marketing advice or when they have questions about how to scale a website or how to do X or Y? So for them, all these things are just reinforcing the win that's positioning them and their online agency, which is really their primary focus, as the thought leaders in this local community in which they are building all this. All right, so the ideas are literally endless. You are only limited by your imagination. I mean, I've put out some visualizations and some infographics in the last couple of weeks that, that some of the stuff is covered, some of the stuff is new. I mean, I could sit here and just come up with ideas for how to stack value, for a local, um, community-based directory or a niche-based directory or an industry-based directory that's across the U.S. I mean, it really matters not. The same fundamental principles apply. Stack the value, use urgency offers to make irresistible offers to your ideal audience. And, for those of you who think that offering these tremendous discounts, I mean, even this is not tremendous. If this was, let's say, $44.99, and you offered a July 4th discount of, let's say, $99 for the year, anyone who's got a calculator, or has a basic grasp of math can quickly carry the one and figure out that's a pretty stinking good deal. So if the site is up and it looks good and you've populated it with some other listings, so you've seeded the site, your first XYZ amount of listings, people are going to look at that and they're going to get excited, and you only need 10 of these to get here, which is 1K. And you only need 100 of these to get your first 10K. And that's not difficult to do if you put the right foundational pieces of the puzzle in place when you launch. All right, so there's one other thing I was going to say, and I can't remember everything. Yeah, I'm forgetting what that was. So anyway, there you have it. So if you want to participate in the 0 to 1K challenge, which is scheduled to launch on the 5th of July, just click on the link below and you'll get some more information on that, or feel free to leave a comment in the YouTube comments below as well. All right, I hope that helps. Have some more stuff coming, and I appreciate you watching.